Hey, and welcome to Matt and Jess TV. I am Matt Roast.
And I'm Jessica Bun Bun.
Welcome to our Dexter Resurrection Season 1, Episode 6 preview. This is an episode titled Cats and Mouse. This is also an episode that seems to be all about, okay, Dexter has so far gotten rid of the tattoo collector.
Yep.
Lady Vengeance is, for now, behind bars.
Mm-hmm.
Who is the next target? What is he going to do from here?
Yeah, and we're going to go through the synopsis and kind of what's in there, but it feels like to me, really early tinfoil hat, that it's going to be the Gemini Killer, because there was sort of this mention in the synopsis that the next person that he's going to be looking at is someone who's like a narcissistic killer. And of who's left, it feels like Rapunzel is like jovial, like, hey, everybody, oh, it's so nice to see you. How the kids? Oh, my kids are good too. Where then you've got the Gemini Killer who has barely said anything, who seems like kind of a strange guy. But we learned a little bit before the season that his character is someone who's, very elusive, lots of podcasts, lots of fame around him. And that then to me feels like he would be the person.
Yeah, and I think this is going to be a really interesting showcase, obviously, for your guy David Dismalchin.
Please don't kill David Dismalchin off.
No,
oh my goodness.
We need him to be in as million different things as possible. I already don't know how he's going to be both in Bison and Street Fighter, and then also Karathan and Murderbot, and then also this. But you know what? We can try to find a way to make it happen. I just feel like it's a real interesting story that Resurrection has going here, where we all kind of went into the season thinking that some of these recurring baddies were kind of sort of going to be around a long time, and maybe some of them will. But at the same time, Dexter in the present is kind of mowing through them pretty fast.
Yeah, he really is. I mean, like you said, we've already lost Tattoo Collector. Mia's put away in jail right now. There's only 2 left.
All right, well, we have a lot more to get into when it comes to what we think could be coming in this episode. But before we do, be sure to hit that subscribe button, because we have 3 Dexter Resurrection videos coming your way every week. We've got reviews, previews, theories. We love talking with you guys in the comments about the show, what you think is coming, and we're in the midst of a very busy summer in between Alien, Earth, and then also Twisted Metal Season 2.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for all the love that you guys have been giving us for these Dexter videos. It's been so much fun to talk to you guys in the comments. And yeah, hit that subscribe button for more Dexter content. And if you want to have even more Dexter discussions with us, you can head over to our Patreon. I'll leave a link for you below in the description.
Thank you guys so much for your support. We really, really do appreciate that.
Yeah.
Okay, so if this is going to be the Gemini Killer Spotlight episode, which I think you're right, there's just not really a lot of evidence that Rapunzel is some narcissist or anything like that. David said in some interviews leading up to the start of the season that his character is not necessarily who you think he would be, or even to some extent the sort of character you would think David would play. And that part of it's interesting to me, because this is no shade to David, because we love him, but it's just like, I've seen David play a lot of creepy bad guys already, whether it's whether it was, Murdoch on MacGyver, whether it is who he's been on Gotham or The Flash. Like, that's kind of his bag.
It's absolutely his bag. That's why when he was announced to be playing the Gemini Killer on Dexter, I'm like, perfect. They couldn't have found a better guy, because David is so good at playing so bad. So I was so excited for him.
Yeah.
He's barely been on the season so far, but it's been hard to kind of gauge what he's like. Is he a narcissist? Is he the person that he's closing in on? Or is there more to him? Because David did say that it's not going to be exactly the way that we would think of him. And when they explained his character, oh yeah, he's in all these podcasts and whatever, all these documentaries. He's very famous for what he's been doing, that he kills in pairs and all of that. I was like, well, he's got to be somebody who's kind of full of himself then, because he's like, oh, I've been able to do all this and get away with it for so long. And we've seen a little bit of this also with Dexter this season, where people are starting to, we saw the tattoo collector. Oh my God, you're the Bay Harbor Butcher. Oh my goodness, sort of thing. We saw Leon acting that way about the Bay Harbor Butcher as well. And Dexter also getting upset that somebody had the dark passenger label. It's all kind of coming together in a really interesting way of how killers are portrayed in the media and how they feel about themselves. So is the Gemini killer, if it's him, really that narcissistic, or is that just what Dexter thinks he is?
Okay, here's what I think. I need more tinfoil for this, because this actually goes all the way back to, we did a video about the Gemini killer before this season, and we've talked about here. And ultimately, one of the theories that was bounced around in that is the idea that this is somebody who kills in twos.
Right.
I think he operates in twos. And by that, I think that, and I know twin theories can be lazy, but I don't think it's going to be lazy in this case.
Yep.
I think that there are two. I think David's playing two different people. I think Dexter is probably going to kill one of them in this episode, but I don't think Dexter's going to know that there is a twin out there. And I think that's going to be the way that David continues on Dexter Resurrection. And that also buys into, oh, this isn't exactly what you think. Well, yeah, it wouldn't be if you're actually playing two characters, David.
Yeah, that's the thing. Twin stories can seem lazy, but they can, when they're done well, they can be done really well. And I think that that's a twist that no one would really see coming, because if it's really being pushed the way it is, oh, he kills in twos, then we're not paying attention to the idea that he could be a two, and that that's how he's actually been able to, evade being captured this whole time. That it's like, while one of them is killing someone, the other one is seen somewhere, and that if no one really knows that they're twins and that they just kind of think there is only one of them, he would never be suspected because he always has an alibi.
That's just really fun to me. It'd just be really interesting to see an actor as good as David play that.
It would also be interesting to see if he's disclosed this to Leon, because while, it feels like you have to be there and you have to be completely transparent with him, the Gemini killer already has come across as someone who's not really willing to share that much. He's willing to be there and he's willing to take the money, but he's not really willing to share that much. And I could easily see that he's just keeping that a secret from everyone. Yeah, he's just Gareth. It's just him.
I am going to be Ron Burgundy style in a glass case of emotion if this theory is, because I'm already so far down this rabbit hole of
really
this
are.
theory that it's like, if I am wrong, which I could very well be, I'm going to just feel so bummed out.
Hey, all theories are on the table right now. You guys leave us your theories. What do you think? Do you think that this next person in the synopsis that Dexter's after is going to be the Gemini killer?
Okay, so here are some other things that are mentioned in this preview for what's coming up here. Harrison faces a crisis of identity while trying to find his place in the world. And I think a lot of this is probably tied to, okay, so Dexter has sort of tried to alleviate some of the pain that Harrison was feeling. So maybe he's not going to carry that guilt with him, but I think he's still struggling to figure out, like, okay, who he is. He's trying to distract himself, obviously, with his job. It seems like he's listening to music almost everywhere he goes, and it seems like he's someone who's just constantly trying to distract himself. And I mean, I can kind of relate to this somewhat as someone who has, battled depression off and on. Sometimes if I'm feeling really down, I'll listen to podcasts or I'll do whatever that I don't have to be left alone in my own thoughts. But then when you kind of get into a position where some of that stuff goes away and you are left alone, you kind of have to figure things out, and it's really hard.
Yeah, and I mean, for Harrison, he is a really young guy. Yeah, there's still lots of debates. How old is he? 16, 17, 18? I mean, it's tough. They've been playing around with his age a lot throughout the entirety of the shows. But he's someone who has killed people. He is someone who has shot his dad. Yeah, his dad is trying to take some of that burden off, but his father is a notorious killer.
Yeah.
Who, can he trust? Can he not trust? Is Dexter actually going to continue to protect him? Could he turn on him? He doesn't have any other family except his dad, who's a notorious killer.
Yeah.
He is someone who has killed someone and feels guilt. So him dealing with that is his dad can only take so much burden off of him. So he's still going to feel the guilt that he's going to feel about things. He's not built like many of the other killers that we have seen on this show. He is really different.
Yeah, he's human, like fully human. He feels every emotion, and I think he's probably going to want to establish some normalcy in this episode, but it's hard because it's like things are already awkward with him and Elsa now. Like that's been very, very much established.
Yep.
He can go back to work and do his job, but that's just assuming that Claudette has really let everything go. And I kind of feel like she hasn't. I think they're going to accept right now that's like, okay, we have Lady Vengeance behind bars, but how long is this all going to stick where maybe there's evidence connecting her to some of the other trophies that she has, but there's not really anything that really connects her to this other than she has a motive based on what the public calls her.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Harrison is really going to be, balancing that he went in for the kiss, didn't get it. Now
Yeah.
he's got to work in this awkward situation. His boss isn't really that happy with him. Nobody's really that happy with him. And then dealing with the fact that, him and Dexter are trying to build something here, but it's a very awkward relationship in that way. And the watch is still in play, I feel. I don't think that especially Angel, is just going to take that for face value to be like, oh, wow, what a coincidence. Oh, we just happen to get Lady Vengeance and she's a big get. So, we're going to let this particular piece of evidence just stick on her.
Yeah, and that's further proven in the synopsis where it says that Batista is going to pursue the connection between the Bay Harbor Butcher and recent killings in New York City. So obviously, he's not letting this go. As we said in the review, like he's well aware that Dexter has framed other people before. He did it with Dokes. This is something he's more than capable of doing. He just has to sort of lay out how all of this came together.
Yeah, like it feels like in New Blood, Dexter's biggest mistake was teaching him how to cut up the bodies, how to, clean up the bodies, because this is the MO of the Bay Harbor Butcher. And if the Bay Harbor Butcher is Dokes and Dokes is gone, then how is this still continuing on? It's just, there's too much of a connection. I know at that point, Dexter didn't know that Angel was going to be after him, but he does know that Dokes, the Bay Harbor Butcher, that's how he killed people. So that can't still be happening, or then eventually somebody's going to come out and be like, more bodies are popping up and they're exactly like the Bay Harbor Butcher, but he's supposed to be dead. How is this a thing? Copycat, or we didn't catch him?
Yeah, and that's Batista, you are going to have to use your social skills like never before in this episode, because I think we've seen this on a million different crime shows at this point, where a lot of times the police just want to point to somebody, say this person is responsible, and then move on.
Wrap it up, get their collar.
Yeah, and it's like, he doesn't want to do that. How is he going to be able to convince them not to do this when there's going to be enough evidence pointing at Lady Vengeance for presumably all of these other killings that it's going to be so easy to just lump this one in there? And also, why are the people in New York going to care about the Bay Harbor Butcher at all? It's been years. This is somebody who is in Miami. Batista's not really in this jurisdiction. Like, what can he really even do?
Yeah, I mean, I think he's very lucky that Claudette is the person that's looking into all of this, because she's someone that won't let things go either. And, the Bay Harbor Butcher, notorious killer. The fact that you even had the tattoo collector be like, oh my God, it's you. I can't believe it, kind of thing.
Yeah.
He's so famous that I think the people of New York would be very concerned. That's like, oh yeah, it turns out Dahmer's not dead and he's actually in New York. People are like, oh my God,
Yes.
this is a problem,
Yes.
right? But for the police, yeah, they're probably just going to want to wrap that up and be like, hey, we got a big get. We'll just put it on her. It doesn't matter. Yeah, this Bay Harbor Butcher thing, it's already cleared up. But Claudette is not like that, and Angel is not like that.
No. So the last thing I'm kind of actively thinking about entering this episode is, okay, does anyone think that Lady Vengeance is going to be out of prison by the end of this episode? Because it's tricky. Like, there's a part of me that feels like, okay, that's completely implausible, even for somebody like Leon and Charlie, that they're going to be able to find a way to turn this around when when there's all this evidence connecting her potentially to these other deaths. However,
Okay.
We know that Charlie is very successful. We know that Leon's donated a lot of money to the NYPD. I kind of feel like they're going to try to find some sort of procedural hang up where, oh, her rights weren't read to her at the right point. Like this one check wasn't checked properly. They're going to do something where they're just going to manage to get her off on some sort of, oh, proper procedure wasn't followed. Now she's back on the street.
Yeah, I think there'll be some sort of technicality that she'll be able to kind of get out of. I mean, she's staying in an Airbnb. So while, yeah, there's the trophies there, who was staying there before her? Like
Yeah.
there's ways to kind of argue this about, to be like, well, maybe they're not hers. Maybe it was the person that was there before, the person that was there before. Somebody was using it in between people. Like, okay, sure, she had this guy all tied up and whatever, but no actual crime at that point had taken place when she was arrested. He was still alive. He could have been a willing participant. Yeah, he could say, oh, I wasn't afterwards, and that might all unravel it. But there's not enough there to hold her for murder or for being Lady Vengeance outside of the trophies being there, and they can find a way around it.
And even if they can't find a way of doing it that way, which I kind of do think that they will, there is another possibility where we have a situation where Charlie either just knocks some people out, breaks her out, or Leon just pays people off and is just like, look the other way. Even if you get fired, you're going to be set for the rest of your life. You have nothing to worry about.
The biggest thing are these trophies. And we know already that Leon has bought trophies through the police department. He has the Bay Harbor Butcher slides. So is it possible then that he is just going to buy Lady Vengeance tokens and bring them in, trinkets and bring them in?
I think there's a lot of possibilities on the table. I don't think we're done with Kristen Ritter. I think that from here on out, because we're moving into the second half of this season now, it's all just going to get so much messier and messier. We all think back to the classic seasons of Dexter. Once you got to like episode 7, episode 8, it almost felt impossible every single time that he was going to be able to get out of this either alive or not in prison. And I kind of think we're heading in this direction again.
Yeah.
But that's where we are, entering Dexter Resurrection Season 1, Episode 6. What do you guys think is going to happen? Do you think Mia's going to find a way out of prison? And do you believe the Gemini Killer is next? Let us know in the comments. And also, hit that subscribe button. 3 Dexter Resurrection videos a week. And you can support us further by joining our Patreon. That link is in the description. We're covering there exclusively in video form. Countdown. Thank you so much. We will see you here next time.